Sandra began with an anonymous letter to the Jefferson County Commissioners. They had the authority to change the road's name. When no progress was made, Sandra knew she had to find supporters who understood why this road needed to be changed. Her first thought was the Japanese American Citizens League, or the JACL.
I sent a packet to Betty Walkie, who was the chapter president, and I didn't put my name on it. It was just, I just put it in an envelope, and all she knew that it was from Beaumont. 1 year went by, I didn't hear a thing, and I was really getting discouraged.
But Sandra did not give up easily.
Well, I contacted my cousin, Shirley Nakawa, and then she contacted a Dr. Clifford Ueda. He then contacted the Midwest director of the JCL chapters. He then contacted the Houston chapter president, Betty Walkie, and then that's when the Houston chapter became involved.
But Sandra did not stop there. She knew this wasn't just about Japanese Americans. It was about civil rights that belonged to everyone.
After that, then I called ADL, I called LULAC, I called NAACP, I called all of the civil rights groups that I could think of. I felt they would know how we felt, because they were also a diverse group who had to fight for different rights, civil rights.
Sandra found her support. Representatives from the JACL, NAACP, and American Civil Liberties Union all showed up for a hearing to change the road's name. Also present were locals who were embarrassed and hurt by the name, and veterans of both the 442nd and the Texas 36th Infantry Division. After hearing over 2 hours of testimony, the results were surprising.
Even after hearing all of that, then when it went to a vote, only one commissioner voted for the name change, and he was their very first African-American commissioner, Edward Moore. They refused to change because it was they felt that it was named to honor the Mayumi family, and losing it would be losing their history.
Yoshio Mayumi was a Japanese farmer who lived in Finette in the early 1900s. He was a prosperous farmer and a well-liked member of the community. Some claim the road was meant to honor him.
That's what hurt us, because the crossroad, that was named Burrow Wingate. And Burrow Wingate truly honored the Burrow and the Wingate families, and I have met their descendants. So they're really proud. Well, the Mayumi descendants were not proud of that road. They wanted it to be named Mayumi Road, and they were hurt. All of us were hurt. And also, I felt like maybe changing it might admit that some people may have been prejudiced, or that it is an offensive word, and they did not want to admit to that.
But Sandra was not ready to give up.
Some people told me, let the next generation take care of it. They're going to be more open, they're going to be more diverse because of all the mixing, this and that, and that's a wonderful thing. So they'll know, they'll understand, let them change it. Don't worry about it right now. The next generation would do it, and I didn't want to wait for the next generation.
Sandra began a correspondence with her local paper. Soon, a dialogue emerged. Some people were angry and insisted Pearl Harbor justified the racism. Some people were in support. Others weren't sure why the road was offensive. Meanwhile, the story grew legs, and in the years to come would gain national attention. Politicians and civil rights advocates urged Jefferson County commissioners to change their mind.
Then everyone started sending email to the Jefferson County commissioners, and Judge Carl Griffith was a judge at that time, and they just received thousands of emails from all over the United States. And I think that kind of where they saw that, wow, this is really something important that really needs to be thought of carefully. And then a New York reporter came for the New York Times, came and then did an article, and it was placed in the New York Times. And so one of the commissioners, Jimmy Kokonos, was vacationing in New York. It was summertime. He took his family. He picked up a copy of the New York Times and saw that, and he said, oh my gosh, this is really, it's not just in Finette anymore. It's a national matter, and then he felt ashamed. He said he really felt ashamed and felt it should be changed. So then when the commissioner's court began, he was the first commissioner to vote for the change, and it just seemed like after he voted for it, every single commissioner voted for it, except of course Mark Domain, who was the one who presided over Hampshire Finette. So then it was the opposite. It was 4-1 in favor of the change, and that's how we finally got the road changed.
Now named after the closed seafood restaurant, Boondocks, the street's new name left Sandra with mixed feelings.
We were happy about the change. That was our goal, but we were really disappointed that they didn't name the road Mayumi, because that would have truly shown that they were honoring him, Mr. Mayumi. So that part was a disappointment.
Even after her 12-year struggle that in some ways was never quite resolved, Sandra still holds true to her beliefs.
Everyone's equal. Everyone is worth as much as anyone else. Everyone's special in their own way. And that's how I truly feel.